What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Can I ask you guys a question? Maybe it's just me, and maybe it could be the sexist within me. Maybe it could be the misogynist in me. Maybe it could be the person who hates women, even though I have pretty much nothing but women in my life for the most part, whether it's friends or family. Can I ask you guys a question? Don't you hate when you have to do a specific job? You know, a job that's manually laboring. You know, usually 9 times out of 10, it's meant for men to do. Whether it's, affecting you personally, or whether you're looking at your television set and you're seeing something, or maybe you're just witnessing something. Don't you hate when you're looking at a job that you know for a fucking fact there's absolutely no reason for a woman to have to be participating inside it? Nevertheless, though, we're just doing it because equality. But you're saying to yourself, okay, but we don't have to be equal at everything. Isn't in the end of the day the goal to make sure the job is done to 100% the best of its abilities? For an example, say a police officer. I want to use, because I think they're a perfect example, right? You have a man police officer who has to fight crime. He has to go out there and he has to stop criminals from, being criminals. Is it just me, or it's shouldn't that be a job exclusively for men? Because we don't really give a shit about equality when it comes to, having our lives saved. Yet for some reason we put women on the force, and it's that's, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they're not going to get the job done effectively in comparison to a man. It's just not going to happen. If you have let's just say 170 pound drug addict out there, right, causing all kinds of shenanigans and troubles and, making people's lives a living hell. And, there might be even a situation where he's going to probably just do something really horrible or horrific, right? Are you going to send a woman out there, to go take care of him? Even at her best, from a physical standpoint, she could be the number one most fittest woman in the fucking world. Let me ask you a question. Are you willing to send a woman in there at her peak fucking physical versus an average police officer, dude? Say for an example, okay, I'll do it to you like this. Say something is happening to your kids, right? Something is happening to a loved one and you're far away. Who do you want going into the line of danger? Do you want a woman going into the line of danger, or do you want a man going into the line of danger? I think you'd be absolutely out of your fucking mind to say a woman. And that's not to say women can't do other things. You know what I'm trying to say? Just because you're not better than men in one sector doesn't mean you can't be better than men in other sectors. You can do things, 1,000,001 things better than men, and men can do 1,000,001 things better than you. It's just that the things that usually happen on a day-to-day basis tends to kind of lean towards men a little bit more as far as what makes our lives a lot more comfortable. And I bring that up, and I want to equate that to professional wrestling, because I've been saying this for years. I'm not saying women in professional wrestling is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, even from a predetermined standpoint, and yeah, you can find instances where there have been better women matches than there have been better men matches, but overall, I think the best women's match of all time, period, point blank, yada 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 yada. And I try to be fair. I'll give you a perfect example of that too. When I did my 100 greatest matches of all time list, right? I think I put Sasha Banks and Bayley up there, right? But understand, and I'll be the first person to tell you, right? I literally just wanted to put one women's match on there. And I really try to find the best women's match I've ever seen in my life. And to me, that is, at least from an American soil. I'm pretty sure there are better matches in Japan and shit like that. But that was a WWE list, right? And I looked at Bayley and Sasha and I said, okay, well, you're the best women's match in WWE history, in my opinion. So I'm going to put you up on that list. But make no mistake about it. If I would have took that off the list, I don't think anyone would have fucking gave a damn. Right? Let's just be perfectly honest with ourselves. No one would have necessarily given a damn. Not to mention, that's just from an in-ring standpoint. Like I said, physically, women can't do the things men can do. It just is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. That's just, gymnastics and all that other kind of stuff. I'm talking about actual fucking wrestling. But even putting that to the side right there, from a drawing standpoint, women wrestling will never draw more than men wrestling. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You can sit there and you can stump your feet on the ground and you can pout and you can put the angry Miz girl face on and everything. You can cross your arms, you can puff out your lips, and you can make the mean face. It's never gonna happen. Women's wrestling, maybe women individually can draw more than men when doing certain types of things, wink wink, that we've now gotten rid of because apparently power and equality only matter if, they're doing the exact same thing the men are doing. Never mind the fact that you can absolutely draw more than men if, you do the things that were given to you physically. But again, I digress. My point being is, though, women's wrestling will never be better than men's wrestling. I want to read this for you real quick because I think this is fucking hilarious. And this wasn't all just a setup. This right here, this isn't the main crux of the entire video, but I just found this interesting from Ronda Rousey. I'll leave a link down in the description box below, but check this out real quick. This is in her book. Where is it? Okay, so she says this because she was trying to, I'll read the context for you. She expressed happiness for the women currently thriving under the new regime, believing there is significant potential for improvement in how women are represented and utilized in WWE. So that's the context, right? She goes on to say, Ronda Rousey in her book, I think anyone's better than Vince McMahon. The only place you can go is up. I really enjoy Triple H and working with him. And honestly, I haven't been watching, but I saw... Oh, I'm sorry, this wasn't in her book. What's this in her book? Oh, no, she was just commenting overall. Okay, my bad. Regardless, though, I didn't read her book, so I don't really give a shit. She said, I think anyone's better than Vince McMahon. The only place you can go is up. I really enjoy Triple H and working with him. And honestly, I haven't been watching. But I saw something from Natalia, obviously, saying that they had a card recently that had just as many women on it as the men, which was, I think that was was that the Heatwave show? I can't really remember. Or was it the show with Ethan Page and well, then again, NXT always has that, so But she continues to say, that's what I really like to see. The women equally represented, but not just matches on the card, but time on the show. I feel there's no place they could go but up, and I'm really, really happy for all the women still there and thriving under the new regime. Now, look, I'll be the first person to tell you that NXT is doing it right in regards to the equality stuff, right? I think personally they have interesting characters, whether you're talking about the women or whether you're talking about the men. But make no bones about it, even though I think the best possible way you can do the booking in regards to the men and the women is perfectly exemplified by NXT, that still doesn't take away from the fact that it's not a force. Like, we all recognize that, right? In the end of the day, all the stuff that you're seeing with the men and the women, even on NXT, and mind you, I find that to be somewhat compelling, to be perfectly honest with you, it's still forced. It's not something that's organically happening. It's something that you're forcing to happen because, hell, I'll come out and say it. I think it's a bit of an agenda. I think that they're doing this on purpose because they want to be able to put that DEI crowd up. Because make no mistake about it, when it comes to professional wrestling fans nowadays, I said it once and I'll say it again, they tend to lean heavily left. I'm not trying to make this too political, but I'm trying to make a point. They tend to lean very, very left. And it's not just left, it's internet left, meaning you're almost always going to be dealing with, progressives. It's not even dealing with actual liberals who don't really give a shit at all. They're just average everyday Americans. No, you're dealing with progressive leftists where nothing really will ever be satisfactory until you legitimately have the women go out there and main event every goddamn given show. And here's the thing, you can have your agenda, you can make everything political, you can get your social credit score up, WWE, you can do whatever you want to do, but make no mistake about it, it's hurting you. And as far as the viewership rating is considered, as far as actually connecting with the audience, and it's hurting you. It's hurting it more than it's helping you. You right now are only engaging with the fans who are already here. You are not going outside your circle and drawing via the women. That's just not happening. Anything and everything that's occurring with all their outside influence, that's happening via the men. And if the women are doing something in regards to a draw, it has nothing to do with the wrestling. It has everything to do with the character. Perfect example. Look at the Liv Morgan stuff with Dominic Mysterio. You think anyone actually gives a fuck about Liv Morgan's wrestling? You think they give a fuck about Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan necessarily going out there and throwing in some luchador moves or anything? No, they care about the storyline. They care about seeing Rhea Ripley, going after Liv Morgan. They want to see Liv Morgan get her comeuppance for everything that she's been doing to Rhea via Dominic Mysterio on the Judgment Day. Has nothing to do with wrestling at all. Nothing. And even NXT, we can revert back to that also. I don't think anyone gives a shit about the women wrestling in NXT also. It's because they're hot as shit. The women in NXT has by far in all of professional wrestling, and it's not even fucking close. NXT has the baddest fucking women. Period, point blank. As far as looks, physically, they have the baddest, most finest women in all of professional wrestling. You think they come to see them wrestle? Hell no, they come because they sexy as fuck. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, think they came to see them wrestling? Hell no, they came because they want to see the story of Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley through Dominic and the Judgment Day. And that's not to say again that you can't do things like that to put them on par. Look at Lita. No one came necessarily to see Lita wrestle. They liked how she looked. She had something different about her. The aesthetic about her was her being a tomboy. The aesthetic around her was that she took about as many risky bumps as the Hardy Boys did. Trish Stratus, she was hot as fuck. You know what I mean? No one. Let me repeat that. And mind you, I'm saying this overall because it's not just the women. The men are affected by this also when it comes to the aspect of just wrestling. I keep trying to tell everyone, no one comes at all for the fucking wrestling. No one. And mind you, I'm a technical wrestling fan. Some of my favorite wrestlers of all time are all technical wrestlers. Whether you're talking about Benoit, Jericho, Hart, Angle, I'm a technical wrestling mark. I fucking love technical wrestling. And I will be the first person to tell you, I don't think at all anyone's gonna pay a fucking ticket to watch two guys go out there and fake roll around the ring. Even though I find it compelling, I know nobody else is gonna find it compelling. And my thing is, if the man can't do it, trust me, the women ain't doing it because they ain't gonna outdraw the man when it comes to doing that, because in the end of the day, professional wrestling is a male soap opera. And look, I'll tell you what, my thing is, and here, I'm not trying, again, yeah, I'm gonna sound fucked up. Devontae, you're such a sexist, misogynist. Let's go, sexism, let's go. All right, check it out. Look, last Wednesday, bro, with the whole Toni Storm and Mariah May shit, I thought it was fun. I thought it was nice. To be perfectly honest with you, I look at shit like that and I say to myself, okay, that's the way you want to engage a feud. That's a cool way to engage a feud. But can we not play games here? You know why this shit is getting as hype that it's getting right now, right? You know why it's getting as hype that it's getting right now, right? Because you had a woman bleed in the manner of how Toni Storm bled. That's it. No one really gave a shit about the angle until she started to bleed. Had Toni Storm went out there and just got hit with a title, laid out, and then the show went off the air, you think anyone would have gave a fuck? Be real. You think anyone would have gave a fucking? Mariah May would have just hit her with the belt. She wouldn't have bled. She would have been laid out unconscious. It just would have been another heel turn. But because Toni Storm bled so profusely like that, and it's very, very, how do I put this? Abnormal to see a woman in any context bleed in the manner that Toni Storm bled. That's why it's getting as hyped as it's getting right now. That's why. But my thing is, you got someone like Jon Moxley who bleeds like that every other fucking week. You feel me? Like, you see Jon Moxley bled like Toni Storm eating breakfast this morning, bruh. But you gonna sit here and tell me in the end of the day that, oh shit, man, this right here, when I seen one cat said, this is the greatest feud of all time, bruh. How? It didn't even fucking start yet. What are you talking about? It hasn't even started yet. Right here, this right here is the starting point of the feud, but we're already saying something's the greatest of all time. See, that's what I'm talking about, bruh. That's what I mean when I look at the police analogy that I made earlier, where I'm like, bruh, y'all just give women anything and everything just because they're women, bro. Even though it doesn't merit it at all, man. Look, Toni Storm and Mariah May go out there and they may have a killer feud. But make no mistake about it, every metric is going to be lowered just because they're women. Her going out there and bleeding in the manner of how she bled got all these accolades. And mind you, I like the angle. I like what they did. I think that's an appropriate way to start a feud. It's something that I'm not going to say I've never seen before, because I feel like I've seen women bleeding before to start a feud, but never in this manner. And it hasn't been for a very long time, right? And I see people comparing it also to, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. And I'm going to say the same thing I said then, now. That shit was garbage. That wasn't even a feud, bro. What, bro? It's like we have the memory of fucking birds, bro. And I mean like retarded birds. You know, let's go a little bit low. We have the brains of fucking caterpillars, man. We're just fucking retarded, bro. Are we still Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa? They didn't do shit. They cut like 2 promos and had a bloody hardcore match. That was nothing but garbage wrestling. That y'all know good and damn well, had I been the fucking man. Look at Orange Cassidy and see, we can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember his fucking name. The dude that's with the Undisputed Kingdom. Not Matt Taven, that's his name. Do you remember Matt Taven and Orange Cassidy? Do you remember they had a Texas death match? Huh? They were bleeding in that match too. They did everything in that match that Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa did. Do you remember that match? Yet they did just as much, if not more, than the women's match. Nah, you don't, because it's because they're men, and it's because they're women. But you don't remember that, but you remember that. And mind you, I get it, because those kind of matches happen all the time when it's with the men. But that's what I mean, man. We just lower our standards just because they're women. Now, apply Toni Storm and apply what happened with her and Mariah May to any other feud in AEW. Does it get over just as hard? Be real for a second. Does it get over just as fucking hard? Huh? Like, say for an example, Swerve Strickland got attacked in the same manner as Toni Storm did by, say, Heyman Adam Page to kick off their feud going into All In. And that happened in the middle of the show. Not even the main event, let's just say the middle of the show, or even the opener. Does that get over just as hard as what happened with Toni Storm and Mariah May? I venture to say nah. Because you've seen them have the Texas death match already, right? You've seen them in other situations and in other positions where that kind of stuff didn't really do much for a feud, and regardless of who the participants are. You only give that accolade to Mariah May and Toni Storm because they're women. I mean, if that's the case, then who the fuck are you expecting in regards of drawing to do what, say for an example, Swerve Strickland and what a Heyman Adam Page did for AEW at that time in comparison to, say, a normal women's match? Like, right? Like, what I mean by that is you had fucking Swerve Strickland and you had Heyman Adam Page have a regular one-on-one match a couple of months ago, right? Right, that was, I think, to determine whether or not Swerve can get into the triple threat match with him and Joe, if I'm not mistaken. Can Toni Storm, Mariah May do something like that? And then still be able to draw just as much as they did? Not to say that they drew a lot, but what I'm saying is, can they draw just as much as they did? No, they can't. How do I know this? Because we see 1,000,001 women matches every other fucking week. And what's their drawing ability on the card that night? I rest my fucking case. But like I said, we lower our standards just because they're women. Is that an appropriate thing to do? Is that a reasonable thing to do? Does that make any sense to the normal person? I think, in my opinion, that's sexist in itself. You know, I've seen Bayley once again talking about how she wants to have another women's evolution. She keeps barking up this fucking tree. Let me remind you guys that the Evolution pay-per-view, now granted, I still can't cite any of this. I'm just going off of what everybody else is saying within the realms of WWE. I'm going off of what all these so-called quote-unquote experts and journalists are saying. Everybody under the sun has said that Evolution was one of the least watched pay-per-views in wrestling history. Not just WWE, but wrestling history. They're not bringing it back, bruh, because women don't draw in regards to the wrestling. If it's just strictly going out there and showing off your skills, that shit does not draw in America. Simple as that. Maybe the Joshi stuff draws in Japan. I don't know. Maybe the women wrestling in Mexico and Tijuana. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that shit draws. But I can tell you, in America, nobody gives a fuck about that. It's niche as fuck. You have individuals who happen to follow the women, who like the women on the individual level. But I can tell you, generalizing, broadly speaking, bringing it all together, nobody gives a fuck about women's wrestling like that. Take it or leave it. It's not really my problem, nor do I give a shit. Just coming out and telling you what we as Americans see, broadly speaking. Don't like it? Hey man, the gun's in the other room. Don't pull the trigger twice. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below as how you feel about the commentary today. Oh, Devontae, you're such a sexist. Oh, Devontae, you're such a misogynist. Oh, Devontae, you just can't let anybody have it. You hate everything. You hate everything. You hate everything. You hate it. I know. You know, shoot the messenger. You know, I get it. I completely understand. But like I said, man, if you can find me a wrestling feud, find me one fucking American wrestling feud between two women, in your opinion, within the realms of professional wrestling that has drew really, really big numbers. Not average numbers in the context of wrestling that day. Not no, oh, well, the average is 2 million and now this shipment drew around 3 or 2.5 million. No, actual fucking draws. You know, for an example, like Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Monday Night Wars, like Hulk Hogan, like The Rock. Oh, Devontae, you're going so high, not everybody can draw that many. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You want to lower the metric for the women. Why the fuck can I compare every other main eventer to The Rock and Austin and Hogan and all of them in order to tell whether or not they're not a draw? But I can't do it with the women, though. Thank you. You're a perfect example right there. Thank you. Find me a woman who can compare it to Rock, Austin, and Hogan. Find me one. Devontae, you can't. Exactly. But let it been Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart. Let it would have been any of those guys. Oh, man, they're not a draw. They're not a main eventer. They're not rocking. I agree. I absolutely agree. So how about that same standard gets put upon the women also, huh? Oh, no, we can't do that? Okay, but I'm the real sexist and I'm the real misogynist, right? Yo, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me get the fuck up out of here. My name is Devontae and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P-eyes.